Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby! Welcome back, everyone, back to the podcast of Great Talk and Entertainment official channel as I continue on for season 2 of Marvel's What If. I will be doing a spoiler review for episode 8. What if the Avengers assembled in 1602? Again, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen it, pause this, give me a thumbs up, because stuff like that would help my channel grow and get new audience, new viewers. Go watch season 2, season 1 of Marvel's What If. Come back, listen to my spoiler review, and of course, I would love you guys to hear your opinions on how you feel about Marvel, how you feel about this particular episode, and much more. I want to know in the comments below. So, y'all been warned. Let's get in. This episode continues on to what happened to Captain Carter, aka Captain Peggy Carter. Wanda summons her from a different universe so she can help fix the problem of a ripped portal that is caused by the Reality Stone. According to the Watcher, Earth 1602 is destined to explode for the fact that there's two universes that are colliding together, and they're stuck together, as Peggy Carter says, like glue, which is going to cause this huge effect of this universe getting completely destroyed. While Carter has been failing to save this universe, she's been trying, but we see during this universe, during a performance by Loki, the Reality Stone ripped a portal that had absorbed many people, including Hela, the sister of the Thor and Loki. And of course, Thor is definitely not happy about it. That was his last straw of dealing with Captain Peggy Carter, so he decides that she's going to get thrown in jail, basically, for her punishment for failing. So, as she tries to save the universe, and now she's on the run, we see other Avengers members from Steve Rogers, Iron Man, Ant-Man, Nick Fury, Wanda, Thor, and the Hulk. And also we get some familiar face, Happy Hogan as the Yellow Jacket, who also turns into the Purple Hulk. If Peggy Carter can find the fourth runner, basically who Wanda brought first, can save this universe. And it's a very big challenge again. And we see some unique things of variance between this Avengers, like I was saying earlier about Happy Hogan. But Steve Rogers is like the Robin Hood, is literally Robin Hood, and Bucky, Barnes, and Ant-Man are like his sidekicks, like the Three Musketeers in a way. You know, they steal from the rich and give to the poor. You have like Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, who is I don't know, like not a drunk. He seems more like the guy who would invent things and people thought he was crazy or he was just a drunk. Because of the fact that Tony Stark built a machine that needs Thor's Spectre power, or Spectre, to power up the box that would get the machine to work so they can close the ripple that the Reality Stone uses. So I think that was the most important thing about that. And of course, in that, we get a full-on, like, Avenger moment. Like, you get Peggy Carter captured, and then Steve Rogers, Ant-Man, and Bucky, you know, go in for the save and try to get her out. You know, we learn the fact that Nick Fury is running the Avengers like no other, so it was all his plan along. Or one of his plans, one of the plans that him and a couple other people came up with to do this mission with, because we learned that Wanda's on is the hero or on the good guy side, you know, because right now in Earth 616, she's kind of like the villain or the crazy lady that's looking for her kids, basically. So, or like the fact that in Marvel's What If there is a Wanda who's zombified, and so Wanda's been kind of like the villain ish. This one, she's probably like your classic like superhero. She's on the good side, basically. And it was very interesting to see that because I thought maybe she was the Wanda from Earth 616. That's what I thought in the beginning of the trailer in this episode. And but I like it's nice to see that version of Wanda just for the fact that I know that they probably got some big plans for that character in the next phase of Marvel of 2024 basically. So it's very nice to see that. And another thing we get is that what I liked about this is where okay, like Bruce Banner, Hulk, he was locked up in the cell, and I like the idea that he had one of like the first Iron Man suits, but it was just a helmet, and they call him like No Face Man or something. But anyway, he got angry and he hulked out. And this is like a Avengers moment where the Avengers get together, because at the end they all gather around to where Thor's back to Thor's palace, right in Midgard, and they battled him and his men of soldiers. And at the end, they found out that Steve Rogers is the fourth runner, and what causes when he was battling excuse me, battling Thanos, just like Infinity Saga, and he had the shield that he was using from Black Panther in Wakanda, and it must have hit the Reality Stone, and it sent him to a different universe, and that's what caused it. And I thought that was very interesting that they went that route. Maybe because that'd been interesting to see that actually go down in the movie Infinity War, but it obviously didn't. But that I thought that was very interesting take. I never thought about that. Like, what if Steve Rogers during that scene, that moment of him fighting Thanos, and he accidentally activated one of the stones and sent him somewhere else? I didn't think that could happen until I saw this episode, and there's a part of me obviously that would have loved to see that, but that would obviously change the whole Infinity Saga story. And so, I'm not tripping about it, but that was one of those things where I didn't say, "Oh, why did I didn't think of that? I should have saw that coming." But that was just one moment that I particularly liked about that episode was it made me think of a different view of like how that could have gone down, and that would have made sense too if that happened in the Avengers Infinity War movie. So I'm glad they put that in What If season 2. Also in this episode, we get like another moment between Steve Rogers and Captain Peggy Carter, and they said this thing where I think Steve Rogers. Well, first of all, Peggy Carter. I know Peggy Carter said that she didn't want to lose him again, and then I believe Steve Rogers said that there's a universe, maybe there's a universe that they are together, whichever way, don't quote me on it, but I remember they both had that moment of interaction, and it made me think, wow, so far, Earth 616 is the only one where Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter had a happy ending, live happy ever after, basically. And it just makes me sad, but I do like the idea of like the parallel versions of these characters. Like Captain Peggy Carter, she's sacrificing that in a way, but from a woman's perspective. And I think that's really cool about that is she could have selfishly, did everything she could, but I think she knew that this was the right thing. And I tell you what, like we need I mean I'm happy with her showing up in the what if, but man, I this makes me really want a live action Captain Peggy Carter movie in the MCU. Somebody somehow, but I think it'd be worth it, and I think episodes like this makes me really enjoy that character even more, and it makes me want to see more of Captain Peggy Carter. And after obviously at the end that Earth is actually saved, and she's still there, right? And she's just hanging out, and then uh, strange superior appears and asks for Peggy Carter's help, and then I believe that leads to episode 8. So let me go with these topics that I have. So Earth 1602, I think, is a very interesting thing. I honestly like that. I mean, this, you know what? I said this on the last episode, a couple episodes back, and I think it was what if Iron Man crash landed the Grand Master's headquarters. This, to me, would have been Captain America 4 with Steve Rogers. This felt like a Steve Rogers Captain America movie. Like if they, if they found a way to do that Captain America again with Steve Rogers with the shield, I believe the fourth film would have been like this. Obviously, because they would pick up from what was he doing in time when he was putting all the stones back. But I also know that this would have been the story, or somewhat like the story, if they did a fourth Captain America movie with Steve Rogers, but not with Sam Wilson. And it was very like cool to see that. And I think in time people don't understand that now, but people want to understand that later down in life if they ever rewatch this of Marvel What If. That this particular episode again just felt like a Captain America 4. And I'm just making it clear that I'm talking about Steve Rogers, not Sam Wilson. And I think this would have been something like that. Because again, if they would have done like a fourth film, like I said earlier with Iron Man in my last review, I said that, well, it would have made sense if Iron Man went to space and did some like solo film. Like that would probably be it. Him meeting the Grand Master. I think that if they did another Captain America film, this would have been a story. There would have been a script like this. And I think that obviously for the purpose of the MCU, they felt like that would justify how Avengers Endgame ended. Like it might tarnish it. But putting on this gives an idea to see how people would kind of react. Would people be okay with that? And it's always going to be 50-50 or one-sided more than the other at times. But I think this would have been it because you can't always Captain America and Iron Man, these two characters in the MCU, they would have had it done an adventure story like this, something like this at least. And so that's why I really like this episode too as well, because it felt like a Captain America film. But what the difference is, it's Peggy Carter, but it's still it still felt like that. Like in this one, Iron Man wasn't like the main character. It was Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers at times, because obviously there was a big connection between, but they played it off with those. So it did, and that's why I really enjoyed this episode the most. Now, let's talk about the ending. Now, I think that this could lead up, or it's building up towards something, because we're obviously getting to season 3. So, this last episode that's coming next, I think it's going to lead up to a big event that may tie in with Kang the Conqueror, Kang Dynasty, I think. I don't know if they're going to do Kang after this. I'm not sure, but... and then there's Secret Wars. So I think it's going to tie into one of those films at the most. So I think this is what it's kind of building up to. And I would go more with Secret Wars, because it is a... I mean, I guess you can do King the Dynasty film, because that is a multiverse story. But I don't know which one would be more significant about it. So I would say Secret Wars at most, because there's some way, somehow they'll find a way to put Deadpool in this. And I think that's the main goal right now, how to get Deadpool in the X-Men. And I think when you see these episodes, we're finding ways and loopholes and excuses to go with the story of it. And it'd be very interesting. So that's my review about this. If I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm definitely giving it a 10. It had a lot of live action. It was action-packed, great storytelling, and a wonderful episode. So that's my review. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you, and peace